Woo, it's cold today. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the KS Moto Cafe. Hope you enjoyed the video of my safety tip on getting yourself a first aid kit. I got a lot of positive responses and even got a shout out from my YouTube motorcycle coach, Dan the Fireman. So thanks for that. So today's topic is a little update on the fears that I have as a motorcyclist. So early on, I covered my 3 primal fears as a person who has never ridden a motorcycle and what I came into during the MSF course. And they were using the clutch system, starting up on a hill, and learning how to properly brake without dropping the bike. Now that I've been riding my bike for about 3 months or so, I have developed 3 new fears that tops the list, and I want to share that with you guys. So with that said, let's cue the intro and let's get going. So for those who are coming to this channel new, my little background is I started out with no experience on riding a motorcycle, and my first bike was this 2020 Harley Sportster Iron 883. So let's get to the topic of my new fears. Well, my first fear that I have now as what I would consider as like an intermediate rider is getting rear-ended. And because I do mostly city riding, it is a very common thing that happens on the videos that I've seen on YouTube. When you watch like Moto Madness or the after action reviews that Dan the Fireman does, the accidents that scares me the most is actually what happens behind you. And the reason why is because it's something that I can't really control. If the person behind me is not really doing his or her safe distance, I really can't control that. What I try to do is I always try to find an exit path if I notice a car coming onto me too fast from behind when I'm fully stopped, or if I'm slowing down quite fast. Depending on what kind of motorcycle you have and how your mirror system works, it's essentially your blind spot that is directly behind you. So you really have to kind of lean towards one of the mirrors to make sure vehicle behind you has enough speed and distance to stop before it gets close to you. I would say there is really not much mitigating factor, which is why it's one of my biggest fears. But the only way you can get out of it really is to find yourself an exit path. Depending on where I stop, I tend to favor the right side, riding position 3, mostly because where I live, that's kind of like the bike path, and it gives you that extra meter space. If you need to really go on a pinch, you can exit that way. Obviously, riding position number 1 is also good, but majority of the time you are facing the oncoming traffic, which could be equally worse if you get hit by someone coming in front of you. So because of that, that is my number 1 fear as a rider that has some experience on riding this motorcycle. My fear number 2 is not making the corner. And this is something that you just have to get more experience on. We did cover it a bit on the MSF, but we weren't going anything beyond 50 kilometers per hour. So really, if you're on the highway or a faster speed road with a lot of twisties, it can get pretty intimidating, especially if it's a road that you don't know. And if you misjudge the cornering speed, you could be in a lot of trouble, because you could be leaning a little too hard to a point where the bike actually gets laid down, or you might end up going into the other lane again, which could be the oncoming traffic, which again is a very dangerous situation you don't want to be in. So my mitigation to that currently is to find a road where you live or a place where you are familiar with riding, and find a road where it's not very concentrated with other drivers, and practice on it.
We're talking about practice, man.
I mean, it will get boring because obviously it's a road that you take numerous times, but it really does help in terms of building up your confidence and understanding how to combine your brakes and your throttle and your gear shift system to match the curvature of the road. The other big mitigation method, which is quite obvious, is looking at the signs. So if a sign that says 30 kilometers per hour, I generally, as a beginner, would slow down to 30 kilometers per hour and take it. After I got a little bit more maturity on a bike, I was able to actually do the proper cornering at a little bit higher speed. But again, it's an indicator that should kind of pop up in your head, where saying, hey, listen, I need to shift down or slow down just a bit to ensure that I can make this corner. I had a couple close calls when I was riding where the cornering was a little longer than I had expected, and because of that I ended up going into the other lane. Luckily there was no car to meet me there, but it did shake me up a bit. So if you're new to riding, or just getting to the phase where I am right now, and you don't really live in an area that has a lot of cornering or twisties, try finding some place to do it. The road I'm taking right now, this is only the second time I have taken on a bike, just because it has a lot of twists and it's very congested with other cars and traffic, but I do enjoy the scenery going this way, so I think it's the perfect path to go on while making this video, to show you guys turns that you will have to kind of do as a new rider. So even as an experienced rider, if you watch some of the motorcycle crash videos, cornering is one of the most dangerous ones I've seen, especially on the mountain path sides, where people are going a little too fast. Where people are going a little too fast and then going off to the ditch. And I don't want that for my bike. I don't want that for myself. I'm pretty sure my family doesn't want that. So yeah, that is my number 2 top fear as an experienced rider. Last but not least, top fear as a more matured rider, is getting a speeding ticket. As silly as that may sound, it will break my bank if I get a speeding ticket and ups my insurance costs. I don't know about you guys, but in Canada and the province that I'm in right now, which is British Columbia, the insurance is handled by the government, and obviously the government running anything in terms of money-wise is not the best. So our insurance is through the roof. And as a new rider with an 883cc bike, it's pretty expensive just to run it, and I have a very clean driving record for many years, so even then, like, it's a cost of a car pretty much. But I still do it because I love riding. But if I get one speeding ticket, or get my demerit points taken off, then I am screwed. And just because of that, I have to be careful. Now you can always say, like, oh well, you can go at the speed limit. I'm like, yeah, sure you can, but being on the open road, you gotta send it, bro. Send it. Times like that, like that's when you feel like the most free, I find, where you're riding at a speed that you're confident in, and that you can stop in time or take the turn in time. It feels great, man. So yeah, like, there's a lot of cops on the road, so I do not want insurance to climb to a point where I would have to get rid of my motorcycle. Doesn't necessarily lead to death like the other ones, but less money in your pocket is just as traumatic, I think. So those are my top 3 fears as a now more of a seasoned rider, let's call it. And I have outgrown my initial fears as a motorcyclist, but I think these new top 3 will stick around for a bit longer, just because it's something that I would always have to be careful about throughout my entire motorcycle riding career. But yeah, what is your top 3 fears? Comment below. So yeah, if you're new to this channel and haven't subscribed yet, please do click that subscribe button because it will help me out. And again, I'm always open for discussion on different types of topics that you want me to cover. So you can either message me on Instagram or put a comment below. The way I'm taking this channel right now is towards informing all the newer riders that's out there that may have a very similar type of learning pattern as I do, or you know, the guys who are wanting to ride a motorcycle but haven't really had the experience or the time to try it out. And lastly, people who want to be a safer motorcyclist on the road. Even though I haven't been a motorcyclist for very long, I do have a lot of background in safety and handling hazardous situations. So there's some insights and preparations that I can give you guys on insight on, and really it's just to be safer on the road. So until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.